We are indeed. We are here until noon. It's great to be with you. I am Tom Ackerman, and we'll be joined here momentarily by a load of guests today. We have Matt Pauley, Kellen Thames, Dan Reardon, Chaim Bloom, Bernie Miklasz, many of whom have been regulars on this show. We've got a lot to discuss between now and then. Baseball, basketball, the Super Bowl is today, the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, the Cardinals Open spring training. So much going on, lots and lots of college basketball, no doubt about that. We are following the story of the Winter Olympics and Lindsey Vonn. And the very latest is that Lindsey Vonn's pursuit of not only the gold medal is over, but this could very well end her storied career. The 41-year-old American Lindsey Vonn, skiing with a badly injured left knee, crashed early in today's race in Italy. She was taken off the course by helicopter after receiving medical attention. Vonn lost control early in the race. She was heard screaming as she was surrounded by medical personnel. A very difficult situation after she returned to elite ski racing last season after a long break. This is the second time, though, that she had been airlifted in 9 days. Teammate Breezy Johnson won the gold, which was a tremendous accomplishment. The first time since Vonn 16 years ago won the Olympic downhill. Breezy Johnson wins it. After 2010, Vonn did it. 2026, the 30-year-old Johnson does it. But a bittersweet day for sure. I mean, she is thrilled to win. She is crushed for her teammate Lindsey Vonn, and I'm sure a lot of emotions right now within the U.S. ski team. The Winter Olympics are underway, and we'll be talking about it all morning long. We'll get you an update as soon as we can. Anything new on Vonn. Such a huge loss and a bummer, said one of her teammates. I feel like hearing her story, just like the redemption of her first fall, fighting to come back to the Olympics. Feel so sad for her. There was another one saying that it's tragic, but it is ski racing, is one of the quotes that we saw. Another one was that you just don't claim to know what she's going through, but know what it's like to be fighting for the Olympics and to have this course burn you and to watch those dreams die. That's a quote from Breezy Johnson on her teammate, Lindsey Vonn. She went on to say, I can't imagine the pain that she's going through. And it's not the physical pain. We can deal with physical pain, Johnson said, but the emotional pain is something else. So that was a tough one to see. The Winter Olympics will continue to follow not only on this show, but on CBS News as well. Let's do this. Let's take a break, and then we will come back with more. We're going to hear from Matt Pauley on baseball's spring training. We're going to get updates on college basketball. Kellen Thames will be with us. We're going to update you on golf, on the Super Bowl, on baseball, and everything in between. It's Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. I am really looking forward to Sunday. I'm all over the Seahawks this week. I don't hate the Patriots, but I love Seattle, and we'll look forward to seeing how the matchup plays out. But keep in mind, this is last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. And, of course, it's Super Bowl 60. FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. So if you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite in Seattle, riding with the underdog Patriots, or just building one last same-game parlay, make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is officially done. It's last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Race to savings on your dream kitchen upgrade with help from Menards. Cabinets. Clearview Cabinetry offers a selection of finishes made with the finest materials and built to withstand life's sticky messes. They provide features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Save big money on Clearview Cabinets and view our weekly flyer on Menards.com. And race the savings on more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new home, and Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon is taking shape. We've got our first foundations in the ground, and our display home will be opening soon. This community features walking trails, a beautiful lake, a berry patch honoring the land's history, a private playground, and Fort Zumwalt schools. It's a fresh start in a great location. Visit McKelveyHomes.com to schedule your tour of Strawberry Farms. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
At Target, we're unlocking all the feels this Valentine's Day. It's the perfect time to spread extra love and spoil everyone on your list with unforgettable gifts. First, give a cuddle-worthy surprise with the cutest plush toys, or get party ready and treat yourself to stylish women's dresses you'll heart. Both 20% off. Then dive into the ultimate cozy celebration with your faves with 30% off select women's pajamas. There's something sweet for all your special someones, even you. Find Valentine's Day gifts for everyone at Target.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
10:13 Sports on a Sunday morning. Great to be along with you. A lot to get to today. Looking forward to chatting with Kellen Thames at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to talk to Dan Reardon. Haven't had him on in a while. Golf season is upon us. Chaim Bloom, as always, talking Cardinal baseball. Bernie Miklasz to do the same. We'll preview the Super Bowl. A lot to do, and let's go right back to baseball. Matt Pauley is heading down to Jupiter, Florida tomorrow for spring training 2026. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely great to have you. How you doing, buddy? Are you ready to go? Are you packed and ready to roll?
Not all the way packed. We'll work on that a little bit today, a lot of that today, and then we'll be good to go. So always, I tend to travel out day after the Super Bowl, so it's always that combination packing Super Bowl day.
That is very true, and I tend to go out the day after my final appearance on Arch Madness. So March 7th, I'll be down, so you'll be holding down the fort for about a month. What are you looking forward to seeing the most here as you get spring training started once again?
Well, from an optics standpoint, I'm curious to see what the facility looks like. And I know people listening probably don't care so much about that, but it is a big part of what's happening with this team moving forward because of the infrastructure and all the technology that's being implemented as part of that. But from a baseball standpoint, I'm just curious if some of these hitters can start to take a step forward, because that's going to determine whether or not this team can play a little bit above their skis this year. Are we finally to that year where Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker do take that step forward? What does a J.J. Weatherholt look like? The other thing is the starting pitching battle, because we have not seen a rotation battle with this many guys with major league time in quite some time when it comes to the Cardinals. And some of them were brought in, this offseason, like May and Fitz and Dobbins. So there's a few things I know there's not just a single thing I want to see, but I really think I'm not just like trying to build up this spring training because we're the home of the Cardinals. I really think there's a lot of fascinating storylines going into it.
There are a lot of fascinating storylines, without a doubt. Let's look at that rotation for a minute. Dustin May, Matthew Liberatore, Michael McGreevy, Richard Fitz, Hunter Dobbins. I mean, if I'm just off the top of my head, that's my five, but there are some who could break in there, I do believe, as we get a little closer to the start here.
Yeah, and you didn't mention Kyle Leahy, and he's going to be given every opportunity to win a job the way they kind of gave Matthew Liberatore that chance last year. What happens with Andre Palante? Palante has talked a lot this offseason about adding a pitch, and people always say to me they're really worried about Palante being a starter based off what we saw from him last year. And my response to that is, if Andre Palante wins a job as a starter, it's because he's different than last year, because that requires him beating out 2 other legit guys for that job. So, yeah, the only guarantees I think that are in the rotation is May, McGreevy, and Liberator. And I look at more like Dobbins, Leahy, Fitz, and Palante are 4 guys battling for 2 spots.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. And as for the hitters, let's go back to what you said in the beginning, and Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker. I mean, these two have been given opportunity. Walker more so than Gorman, I would say, to play every day, although I still go back to Walker getting off to that nice start and having to go back to the minor leagues. Whether that was good for him or not, I don't know. It's all in the past now. So I guess what I'm asking you is, what do we need to see? Obviously, more offense, better numbers, but specifically from Gorman and Walker to know that they are on the right path and making that move that we all wanted to see.
I'm not trying to be like short about this, but it can't be terrible. And unfortunately with those guys, we've seen a lot of terrible from them. Last year, when Gorman finally got that opportunity, when Arenado got injured and he got the chance to be the everyday third baseman, the numbers were terrible. It was the sub 200 average. It was the striking out 1.5 to 2 times per game. That is terrible. It can't be that. With Walker, it can't be that same old swing at that low and away breaking pitch over and over and over and over again. I don't even, a lot of the reason he got sent down his rookie year was because he wasn't putting loft on the ball. At this point, I don't even care about that. If Walker's hitting the ball and hitting the ball hard, even if he's hitting it on the ground, the launch angle will come. That's something that's it's gonna come along with it. So it's avoiding being terrible is what I would say. And that's a really low bar. I get that. But if you can start from that position, considering where those 2 guys have been, I think that gives you the opportunity to move forward.
Let's talk about not terrible. If you look at this team right now, who is the Cardinals' best hitter, in your opinion?
Vonn Herrera.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? And then who would be 2?
Alec Burleson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alec Burleson, and then after that, that's where the question starts from there. I don't know who the third one is. I would have no clue who to answer on the third one. Part of me thinks that might be JJ Weatherholt, and that's way too much pressure to put on that young man. But I don't know who the third best hitter would be on this team. So that's what they got to figure out. And they need guys to step up and move forward offensively. And we'll see what that looks like over the next 6 weeks or so.
I'm so impressed with Weatherholt. I almost want to say that he won't care about pressure, but he's a human being, and this is the big leagues, and we have not seen it yet. So until we see how he handles it, we can't make a declaration one way or the other about JJ. But I think you're right, Matt. I mean, I think he's one of these guys that will be a household name in this town.
I would think so. Now, again, on the pressure of this year, the big leagues are really hard, and guys who go to the Hall of Fame struggle at times. So Weatherholt is somebody who I think the expectation with where he is at is that JJ Weatherholt turns into an all-star caliber player. But I said turns into, I didn't say is an all-star caliber player. So he's going to hit some walls at times, and there's going to be some adversity, and there's going to be moments where it doesn't look great for him. And that's okay. His track record says that he'll fight through that and he'll come out on the other side pretty quickly.
When I look at shortstop and Mason Wynn, I just look forward to somebody who can play a full season, who doesn't have to play hurt, who knows once again it's his position. But quite honestly, Matt, this is one of the leaders of the team. He's not a baby anymore. He's won a Gold Glove. He's a big league veteran. And I've always felt like he's had that mindset anyway. Like he's a little more wise, a little wiser than his age would indicate.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. He's always struck me as somebody who, when he speaks, he doesn't sound like a young guy. When he speaks with a little bit of wisdom to go along with it. And like you said, when you look at the position players on this team and the things that they have accomplished, well, Mason Wynn winning a Gold Glove is about the highest accomplishment of anybody on this roster. So I do think that in a year where, and we'll see, I still think they're going to add a legit right-handed bat at some point in time, but a lot of those guys have come off the board. We were looking at the Baders and the Hayes and the Andujars and guys like that, and they're not there anymore. So I don't know what's going to happen over the next few days. I can sit here and say I still think they're going to add a right-handed bat. I'll be interested to hear what Chaim says to you coming up later on in the show, Tom, because I know they had Ramos this just in the last couple of days, but he's only played third base. He's a right-handed bat, but he's only played third base. That doesn't feel like the move that they're looking at. So as it sits right now, there's not a lot of long teeth in that clubhouse. And even though Mason Wynn's not the oldest guy, he in many ways is the most accomplished guy.
It might be one of those things where you're standing outside the clubhouse and someone says, did so-and-so just walk into the clubhouse? I've been in those situations many times. Last year, where I had someone, I will just say an anonymous source, whisper to me like, Phil Maton just walked into the clubhouse. I'm like, oh, all righty then. There's your pitcher. I mean, it could be one of those things because it is fluid, man. I mean, you can add throughout spring training if you want at this point.
Yeah, you can. And those veteran guys are better at handling that than young guys. And Tom, there's a ton of dudes still out there in free agency. A lot. I mean, you could basically build an entire roster right now. I think John Heyman the other day tweeted out all the starting pitchers that were available, and there were still like 10 or 11 guys. And at the top of that list, there were some pretty good names that were on there. And then when you get into the position player group, there's still a lot of guys. So there'll be a lot of moves here during spring training for sure. I know Chaim has shown the desire that a lot of the rosters put together before spring gets started. But like you said, and also just because pitchers and catchers report next week, we don't have the first full position player workout until, a week or so later. So maybe that's more the date that we should be looking at in terms of the desire for that right-handed bat.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one is Cardinals minor league camp when that opens and all those players are out there working out, because quite honestly, Matt, I'm going to get my steps in this year. I'm going to be out on those backfields. I want to see them. And I think that the Cardinals now being ranked number 2 by Baseball America in terms of farm system is very eye-opening. That should get people's attention, that the Cardinals have made all these moves and they've gone from a minor league system that was thought of as one of the weakest to one that has been almost fully replenished, but it will be replenished year after year.
Yeah, there's still really two things going on when it comes to that. There's a lot of new faces to the organization that are going to be in minor league camp that are going to be fun to go back and see what they look like. And then he's a new face, but very specifically, Liam Doyle is not going to be part of major league camp for the most part. So if folks want to see Doyle, if media want to see Doyle, we're going to have to go back and watch him a little bit back there. So it's I agree with you. The things that are happening on the backfields this year for the minor league guys is going to be more compelling than I think in most years.
If we know how to get back there with all the new construction and new pathways. Have you seen, I'm sure you did, Derek, I guess, was the first one down. How many beat writers are left? I mean, Katie's gone, John, not to make light of it. I mean, a lot, it's tough. Anyway, Derek's down there and I saw him post some pictures of the complex and I'm looking, I'm like, where are they? Oh, there's the walkway along University. And then what looks like, Matt, alongside the clubhouse, I guess, with all kinds of stuff being erected and people working over there. It looks like that's going to be something we're going to have to navigate our way around.
Yeah, they said we're going to get a tour of it on Tuesday. They're not open. Their plan is to open the facility on Tuesday. It's not open yet. I don't think they've gotten an occupancy permit yet. I don't quote me on that. I know I'm saying it on the radio.
No, that's all right.
But I've heard some between us. Yeah, just between you and me, Tom. Don't mention it to anybody else. But I've heard some rumblings when it comes to maybe the occupancy permit has not been issued yet. If it has been issued, it's been issued within the last 72 hours. That the facility is not going to be open on Monday, and they plan to open it on Tuesday if everything goes according to plan. So I've took a little bit of information from a conversation I've had here and a conversation I've had there, and that's what I've been able to come up with.
Derek mentioned in that thread that this is his 22nd spring training, he believes. This, I was thinking about it the other day, will be my 25th. I missed one because of COVID. I did not go in 2021. It was just, there were too many restrictions and we decided not to do it. But there are going to be some great ones. And what I was referencing earlier, Katie Wu is now covering the Dodgers, and John Denton was laid off, he announced by MLB.com. So I don't know. I mean, Jeff Jones is down there. Brian Walton is down there. I'm going to assume Rob Raines is down there. I'm probably leaving some beat writers out. Of course, columnist Lynn Worthy, Benjamin Hockman. You'll have some TV down there. But Matt, the reason I bring all that up is you are the only full-time radio reporter down at spring training. And when I tag my way in on March 7th, we will be the only duo covering things on a daily basis down there. So that's very rewarding, not to mention John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, Ryan Schulte, our entire radio team taking care of the call as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that KMOX continues to do this on an annual basis and advertisers support it, but it is such a priority. I hope I'm not trying to like pat ourselves on the back, but I hope our listeners do appreciate it, because there are some things being down there that we're able to bring you that people who are not down there don't. Oliver Marmol will speak every single day during the run of spring training, and really the only place you're going to be able to actually hear that audio is right here on KMOX, and we'll have that for you, and we'll talk to players, and the Countdown to Opening Day show is going to originate from there each week. So it's Tom, you know it as well as I do. It's a long time. It's a grind. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. It's why we do this, and I'm excited to get down there.
It is, buddy, and it's really our honor to be able to give that information back to the fans. The fan base is massive. The numbers reflect it. Everybody's listening and watching the Cardinals. One final thing is, I do believe we're going to have you chipping in on Gas House Gang, just giving us a quick update once you're down there, not tomorrow as you'll be traveling, but we'll try to get you starting Tuesday just to hit us with about 5 minutes or so what's going on down there. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'll pop on at the beginning and stay on as long as I need to stay on, and then once the games get started, we'll see what things look like. Of course, Rush Hour Sports Open Line will be going on from down there. I'll be on with Chris and Amy. I'll be on with Glover. So if you need me on TIAM, I'll wake up early for you, Tom. So whatever you need.
I'll make sure you get your rest, pal. Enjoy. Safe travels. Thank you for the visit very much, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Matt Pauley is heading down to spring training tomorrow. Sports on a Sunday morning continues with some college basketball. Kellen Thames joins us live on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax-free edition only. Roughly 37% of filings qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
And to get TurboTax free edition, see if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Discover how you can make unforgettable memories with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're dreaming of a winter family getaway, planning your next home renovation project, or considering an investment in your education goals, a home equity line of credit is a flexible and convenient option to fund life's most memorable moments on your schedule. Our local bankers are here to help you achieve your short and long-term financial goals. Call 314-212-1500. That's 314-212-1500. Visit us online at royalbanksofmo.com or stop by a Royal Banks location near you. For more details on how you can tap into your home's equity and get the most out of its current value. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Great to be back with you. Boy, that was a lot of fun yesterday over at Chaffetz Arena watching the Billikens pull away for an 82-58 win over LaSalle, although when aren't they fun? I mean, they are just exciting. They make things happen. Games getting a little dramatic, probably for their coach, a little too dramatic for his taste, and then they put it on him. I want to talk to Kellen Thames about that. He joins us live on KMOX. Kellen, it is great to have you on the home of the Billikens. How are you?
Good. I'm great this morning. Thank you for having me.
I'm doing well as well, and I'm so glad you are. And that was fun, wasn't it, yesterday? I mean, it's always fun to walk away with a win, but the way that you put the hammer down in the second half, that was SLU basketball, wasn't it?
Yes, we had to make some corrections in the first half, and we came out and played the game that we know we should be playing, and it was good to take the lead and take control of the game.
Without giving away too much specifics, I guess, what did Coach say or how did he try to turn the tide with you? Because it was clear he wasn't very happy when we interviewed him at halftime on his way into the locker room.
I would just say he would come in and just let us know we're not playing to our standard. We have a standard that we want to try to meet every single game. I mean, it's not always going to be perfect, but I would say mainly defensively is where we needed to make that stride. And he let us know that. He also corrected us on a few things, a few coverages and stuff that he's seen out there, and then we came back out there and executed it and then took control of the game.
What does he like to play for, Kellen? You've played for a couple of coaches now at SLU. What has Josh Schertz been like over the last couple of years?
I would say he's today I would say like in this era, he's a player's coach mainly. Just more of a people's person, understanding, connected with you personally. That's why I would say that our chemistry as a team as a whole from top to bottom with each member of the staff, it's like a big family. Anybody can tell you anything, and it feels like nobody has like a quote unquote like power. I would say like it's just a great way to just feel like, you know, you can just get information from any and everybody that's just there to help you. And I would say he's also a coach that kind of just lets you play within the system, but still be free to who you are. And that's definitely something that I felt playing with Coach Schertz so far.
He had that program going at Indiana State, then he came over last year and was able to guide the team to 19 wins in what was a difficult season injury-wise. And also for yourself, I mean, missing the last 14 games had to have been tough. What a blessing this is to be able to see you play, Kellen, and I'm sure you feel the same way, getting out there every day.
Thank you. Yes, that's just God's work right there. Like last year I was going through internal injuries and stuff like that, but I was able to figure out what was going on and find a regimen and just make sure I can get out here this year. And it's just been a blessing so far, especially with the season we've been having, and just for me to be able to come back and feel like I've came back as a better player. And I'm just extremely grateful for that opportunity.
That's a great point. Not only did you come back, but you came back better. What was it like with this team back in the summer? I mean, how quickly did you all come together and gel? You just mentioned Coach Schertz is very good about the human side, about personally, but he felt really good about this team, I can tell you, going into the season in terms of your connectivity.
Over the summer, me and him had conversations who he's bringing in, and I was able to talk to the guys coming in a little bit. I'm just seeing how like everybody connected that fast. We are knowing that we all like kind of had somewhat of familiar. We were all familiar with each other. Some people grew up playing against each other growing up and stuff like that, or just coming from the same conferences. So it wasn't really that hard to connect. And we also made sure, like, when we did anything as a team, it was always together, from freshmen to the upperclassmen. Just everybody is never left out in our team. So that was something that I seen that was a big difference. Usually, some people hang out with a few guys, and others hang out with a few people. And, some people are just older than others, and they do, like, different things. But with us, we make sure we all are included in every activity that we do. And that was from the jump, like, just from when everybody got together. And you could see how that was going to take us a long way.
And you've got a great staff, too. Boy, you got a lot of assistant coaches, but they all play a big role. And I know that from Corey Tate to Zach Bovair to you name them, I mean, they all have a specific duty, but they also play a part in that connectivity, don't they, between all of you? Sometimes you may have to sit down with one of them and talk something out.
Absolutely. Funny story with my guy ZB. He was recruiting me out of high school as well when he was at GW. And I had a kind of connection with him when he was coming in. And then before we even got the team together the year prior, I was already working out with some of the coaches that was coming in. And it was just like, it was really not even a long process for us to get connected. I mean, it was really quick. And obviously Corey Tate, I've been knowing him for years, since before college and stuff like that. That's like family as well. So, I mean, just the connectivity, there was no question when they first arrived here.
Yeah, it's a great group. Bovair told us that he recruited Dockery too when he was at GW. Dockery ended up going A&M. That guy can play. The last night yesterday for LaSalle, SLU won at 82-58 over LaSalle. And back to Tate, really back to your dad. I mean, I played against your dad in 5th and 6th grade, and then again in high school when he was at Jennings. He was a really, really good player. And when he went on to Mizzou, it was special to see him play. Just what do you know about his career? And obviously he coached you at Pattonville, just the respect that you have for your father and the history that he's provided this area as well.
It's just unimaginable, like the measures behind the respect I have for him. He's the reason why I know the game. He's the reason, definitely a reason why I play the game. Just the knowledge he always gives me. He's always there for me whenever I need, like, advice. He always says, like, now he's not my coach now, so he's like my number one fan that always, like, just gives me anything, any, like, tidbit of advice that I can get. I understand, like, his career was magnificent. Like, just, I'm always, like, growing up, I was always hearing about it, like, how great he was. And, sadly he had the injury, but for him to still come back from that and still be able to push through and still have the career he did after his freshman season at Mizzou and stuff like that, like, I'll like, hands down, I have respect for my dad and what he did for the city. And I just wanted to just make sure I can continue the legacy for our family.
Well, you do that, and you're here in St. Louis and Chaffetz Arena. There's a buzz. I can tell you that for sure. Having a courtside seat, I'm very fortunate to be able to call some of these games on TV. And when I see Zero sitting down in front of the scorer's table, people are getting their popcorn. I can tell you that. I mean, I know you feel that too. When you step foot off that bench, I'm sure you want to make an impact. And number one is your energy, Kellen.
Thank you. Yes. I do take pride in that. I do want to make sure I just come in and try to just make an impact as soon as I touch the floor, for sure.
What about moving forward here? I mean, it's all about stacking wins now. Just coming off today, you get the day off today to refresh, and then it's back at it. Just the routine never breaks, and you'll have people like me, like everybody else, going to pat you on the back and say, you're the 19th ranked team in the country, or whatever you turn out to be tomorrow. How do you, as a group, try to block that out as best you can and do what you got to do?
We just come in and just try to focus on the present day at hand. We understand that we celebrate our wins when we win, but that next day especially with these. Sometimes now we got a break, but before that, it was just quick turnaround after quick turnaround. We just kind of just put things to bed after we watch film and just understand that we still have things to learn from, and we take those lessons and apply it to the next game. And we all just kind of just stay connected within the locker room, just not really let all the outside get to us and stuff like that, even though it's all great and we are very blessed to have that. It's just mainly we just make sure we just go into the film room, kind of watch over the last game, and once we go in the film room, watch the game, we kind of just put that game back and then focus on the next team at hand.
I appreciate the insight on that. Appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, Kellen, very much. Enjoy the Super Bowl tonight. Have a great time with your friends, and we'll catch up with you real soon. Good luck in your next game as you guys hit the road for a couple. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kellen Thames. Billikens are 23-1, 11-0 in the Atlantic 10, 19th in the country, and they look fantastic. You know who else looks good? Illinois. Now, I know Illinois did not play its best yesterday, but they were in an absolute brawl with Michigan State up in East Lansing. We'll break that game down for you. Also, what Mizzou did. In fact, we'll go through the entire college basketball scoreboard when we come back. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his no-holds-barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Neovitin began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created Neovitin, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with Neovitin, available at Schnucks, Dierbergs, and Neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
February is the month of love, and this year it's time to fall in love with your home again. Imagine warmer rooms, quieter mornings, and cozier spaces you actually enjoy spending time in. At Renewal by Andersen, we don't believe all windows are created equal. Our exclusive FiberX material is stronger than vinyl, resists warping in extreme temperatures, and delivers superior insulation, helping your home stay comfortable, quiet, and energy efficient all winter long. That means fewer drafts, less outside noise, and a home that simply feels better. And because Renewal by Andersen handles everything, from custom design to professional installation, you get a seamless experience and results you'll love for years to come. Right now, for a limited time, buy one window or door and get one window or door 40% off. Plus, enjoy 18 months with no money down, no interest, and no payments. This February, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyandersen.com today. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
One of the things by the way, great conversation with Kellen Thames. Really like him. One of the things I enjoyed about yesterday, this is a great basketball arena in St. Louis. Chaifetz Arena holds about 10,000. It was sold out. Place rocks. First half was kind of a slow half. Neither team could knock down shots. A bit of a rock fight. But, man, as soon as they get that three-point barrage going, that place gets amped up. It has been tremendously loud this season, and it is a fun place to be. Then when I went home and watched a couple of key games yesterday, I wanted to see Duke, Carolina, and I wanted to see Michigan State, Illinois, not to mention Kentucky, Tennessee. These are just great buildings, and the NCAA tournament is one of the best, if not the best, postseason in all of sports. But the one thing that it lacks is the home venues, and I think that a lot of fans of college basketball come in for March, and they come in for 3 weeks, and that's understandable. They have other things going on in their lives, but they come in for one thing, and that is to watch college basketball in March, but they miss all of these venues: Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas, Rupp Arena in Kentucky, the Dean Dome at Chapel Hill, the Izzone Breslin Center in East Lansing. They were all open for business yesterday. And at any given time, you could flip through the stations and see these electric buildings with a great home crowd, with a great student section, with a great band. And you just don't get that during the tournament. You get a neutral site, sometimes somewhat bland, not a lot of the fans traveling to it, etc. I think in St. Louis, that'll be different. You're going to have a great crowd here for the first and second round at Enterprise Center, and it will rock. And the one thing they've been trying to do is draw in a regional team or two and give them a little nod, a reward, if you will, for having a great season. I think Illinois is going to be one of those if they keep on this track. I don't know if SLU will be rewarded with that because they're not going to be much higher than, let's say, an 8 seed probably. Even if they were to run the table. Now, if they run the table and they go, let's say 33-1, I don't think you can deny them. I think you got to give them something here. But Illinois is on that track. And Illinois yesterday put on a nice show. They just came up short. And that Michigan State team is great. I mean, Jeremy Fears played one of his best games of his life. And you have to admit that if you're an Illinois fan. He found his way into tough spots. He hit huge shots. He drove to the basket. He started the game. He finished with 26 points. And this was after Tom Izzo wanted to bench him. He had 11 points in overtime. He had 26 points and 15 assists in 42 minutes. And the Spartans beat Illinois 85-82 yesterday. Illinois, number 5 in the country. They won't fall far. Michigan State is ranked 10th. Izzo debated whether discipline Fears after his sportsmanship was called into question in 2 straight games. And Fighting Illini coach Brad Underwood asked officials to review whether Fears intentionally tripped David Mirkovic after stopping in front of him. Underwood lost that appeal. Fears, 26 points, a tie-breaking 3 with 1:47 to go in overtime, 15 assists. A chance to send the game to a second overtime. Zvonimir Ivasic missed a 3 at the buzzer. That was an incredible sequence in which Illinois stole the ball on the inbounds after Keaton Wagler hit a long-distance 3 to make it a 3-point game. They stole it and had a chance to tie it. Michigan State, meanwhile, knocks the Fighting Illini out of first place in the Big Ten, ends their 12-game win streak. Illinois will be just fine. They lose the game 85-82 to Michigan State. That would have been a really nice one for them. Missouri won. They needed to do it, and they did it again. They won at South Carolina, and they really stifled South Carolina defensively. They looked very, very good. Missouri got a pretty good outing out of Mark Mitchell, as they always do. He was registering a double-double on his way to a 78-59 win over South Carolina. Mitchell had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Pretty good, I'd say. Jaden Stone, 22 points to lead the way for Missouri. They win at 78-59 over South Carolina. Did you see Duke, North Carolina? An incredible game in which North Carolina didn't lead the game until the final second. A shot going in from just in front of the North Carolina bench from Seth Trimble, a three that swished through at 0.4 seconds. The clock ran out. The players celebrated. The students stormed the court. It was an absolute mess in Chapel Hill. The officials are blowing their whistle saying, wait. We need to look and see when that ball went through the basket. It went through at 0.4. So they actually had to clear the entire floor and then clean it because people are running out there with drinks. There's stuff spilling everywhere. Who knows what debris was spilled out there. So they had to clean the floor and then put everybody back out there. They did a really good job in a short amount of time, I thought, of getting everyone off the floor and then letting Duke inbound the ball. But the 0.4 expired, and guess what happened? They all stormed the court again. Now, John Shire, I saw, accused a couple of fans of punching some of his staff in the face. The North Carolina athletic director apologized for that. That was a wild game. He said he had staff members that got punched in the face as North Carolina fans stormed the court. UNC AD Bubba Cunningham publicly apologized. Cunningham said one person was injured amid the chaos, but he didn't offer details as to who or how. Final score 71-68 on the Seth Trimble 3 in Chapel Hill. North Carolina beats Duke. Biggest moment in Trimble's 4-year career that has had its ups and downs. And that is an amazing thing. That was the first time they had won the game on a last-second shot since 2017. And it was the first time that they had a game-winning field goal in the final 10 seconds of a game-winning field goal in the final 10 seconds of a game I saw since Dante Calabria in 1996 in the rivalry with Duke, that is. That is an incredible thing to beat Duke in that great rivalry. Some other games in the SEC, it was Arkansas beating Mississippi State 88-68. Arkansas is pretty good. John Calipari's got them back in the top 25. Oklahoma knocked off Vanderbilt 92-91. And Kentucky looking better every day. They beat Tennessee 74-71. They're not ranked, but they are not done yet. I would keep an eye on Kentucky. They have a very high net ranking as it is. Locally, SIUE over Arkansas, Little Rock. That final was 71-61. SEMO, did you see the dunk by Luke Almodovar it's the best dunk of the season in college basketball. Go ahead and just look it up right now. SEMO, Luke Almodovar, Almodovar. He soars through the air like he's Michael Jordan and posterizes the USI opponent with one of the most incredible dunks you will ever see. A tremendous win as well for SEMO, 90-65 over USI. They can ball down there at Cape Girardeau. Liberty beat Missouri State 79-76 in other action. The NCAA net rankings. I'm curious to know where SLU is in that grouping. Right now, they are 15. Number one team in the net is Arizona. They're still unbeaten. Then Michigan, Duke, Illinois, Iowa State, the top five. The second five, Houston, UConn, Gonzaga, Florida, Purdue. And the third five, Nebraska, Michigan State, Kansas, Vanderbilt, and SLU. 15 in the net. In the net, they have a record of 22-1 because they don't count the Principia victory. College basketball alive and well in the St. Louis area and in this region. The first and second round of the NCAA tournament is going to be in St. Louis. Before that, Arch Madness is in St. Louis, the Missouri Valley Conference, and that takes place March 5th through the 8th at Enterprise Center. The Valley is very busy right now. As a matter of fact, they had no games yesterday. They have no games today, but they have 5 tomorrow. They're smart. They don't play on Super Bowl Sunday. They play on Monday. Tomorrow, Southern Illinois at Indiana State, Illinois State at Evansville. And then there will be Valpo at Drake, Belmont at Bradley, Northern Iowa at Murray State. If you're handicapping who's going to be the number one seed in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, Arch Madness in St. Louis. It's looking more and more every day like Belmont. They have a 12-2 conference record, number 1 seed. Number 2 would be Murray State at 10-4. Then you have a bunch of teams bunched together here. Bradley's 9-5, Illinois State 8-5, UIC 8-6, and Northern Iowa checks in with a record of 7-6. Those are the top 6. And then the bottom 5, Valpo, Drake, Southern Illinois, Indiana State, and Evansville. The Missouri Valley Conference Tournament is an awesome event at Enterprise Center, March 5th through the 8th. College basketball here in the St. Louis area. We will take a break. When we come back after the news, we'll preview Super Bowl 60 right here on KMOX. We're going to talk about the Seahawks and the Patriots and do our Super Bowl picks segment at 11:05. Then at 11:15, we take our attention to Scottsdale, Arizona, and the Waste Management Phoenix Open with KMOX's Dan Reardon analyzing that and the upcoming PGA Tour season. At 11:30, it's Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. He joins us live from Jupiter, Florida on the eve of spring training. Tomorrow, pitchers and catchers who are participating in the World Baseball Classic will report to Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. And then at 11:45, it's Bernie Miklasz. I have a lot of questions for Bernie in a very short amount of time, but one of them is, why can't Torrey Holt get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? I need Bernie's opinion on this, and we'll have that for you coming up at 11:45. Thanks for joining us. So far, so good. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio. We'll take a break for CBS News, and we'll be right back.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
News Radio, KMOX, the home of the Cardinals.
This is it. Last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The last chance to place your bets before the NFL season comes to an end. Super Bowl 60 and FanDuel making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So if you're going with the favorite, I'm really liking the Seahawks to just cover this one. They're a 4.5-point favorite, or you can go with the underdog Patriots or build one last same game parlay. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over and football officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60 and KMOX. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for: their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast. We always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. Magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn. Just seconds into her run down the slopes, Lindsey Vonn's pursuit of a second Olympic downhill gold medal is over. The 41-year-old American crashed and had to be airlifted out. Fans are feeling her pain.
It's such a huge loss and bummer. I feel so sad for her, and I'm sure we're not alone in that feeling.
Her teammate Breezy Johnson took gold, the first medal for the U.S. in these games. In Cortina, Italy.
The team was devastated. Some people were even crying. Breezy Johnson was happy she won the gold medal. But of course, no one wants to see one of their teammates fall so badly, particularly after she had suffered a problem just 9 days ago in Crans-Montana in Switzerland, and then had decided that she was going to, in any case, take part in the Olympics.
The countdown to Super Bowl 60 is on. The Patriots and Seahawks square off just hours from now.
If you're someone who loves the Super Bowl for everything but the game, Super Bowl 60 won't disappoint. The Bay Area's own Green Day will kick things off to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the game. Charlie Puth will perform the national anthem. Brandi Carlile, America the Beautiful. Coco Jones will sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. And of course, 6-time Grammy Award winner Bad Bunny will headline the halftime show. But for those of you who are only in it for the chips and dip, remember the sage advice from Seinfeld.
When you take a chip, just take one dip and end it.
No double dipping. Erica Herskowitz for CBS News.
Just 2 days after Iran praised indirect talks with the U.S. and Oman, its foreign minister has taken a different tone.
Abbas Araghchi told a Tehran forum he hopes nuclear talks with the U.S. will resume soon, but Iran will never surrender the right to enrich uranium, even if war, quote, is imposed on us. The foreign minister apparently referring to the U.S. naval deployment in the Gulf. Araghchi also told Al Jazeera that Iran's missile program is non-negotiable. That doesn't leave much left on the table for talks, with Araghchi warning they'd target U.S. military bases in the Middle East if President Trump takes military action against Iran. Michael Toscano, CBS News, Washington.
Boar's Head has finally reopened a plant in Virginia that was tied to a deadly 2024 listeria outbreak. The site was shut down more than a year ago after contaminated liverwurst deli meat killed 10 people and sickened dozens. The company, based in Sarasota, Florida, permanently stopped making liverwurst and recalled 7 million pounds of their products after the outbreak. This is CBS News.
Real crimes, real justice. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At 11:03, it's partly cloudy and 37 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, anti-ICE protests took place at many schools in the St. Louis area on Friday.
ICE now! What do we do? ICE now!
That's about 24 Windsor high school students in Imperial chanting and holding signs, some of them saying, "Tear them fascists down. Immigrants built this country," and "Liberty and justice for all." Rumors online had suggested that the school signed off promoting the protest, but Windsor Superintendent Jason King sent a letter to parents ahead of time saying the district did not authorize a walkout against ICE. King says the flyer circulating online had used Windsor's logo without permission. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A shooting in North St. Louis County has left a pregnant woman in critical condition and a man under arrest. It happened about 7:30 Friday night on Olney Drive in Delwood. Police say 67-year-old Leonard Davey opened fire, hitting a 37-year-old pregnant woman and a 61-year-old woman. Both were rushed to the hospital. 3 kids were at the scene, but they were not hurt. They've been taken into protective custody, and Davey is now facing 11 charges. Mardi Gras season officially underway in Soulard. The Taste of Soulard was yesterday, and giving people a sample of the food and drink and a preview of the crowds to come next weekend.
Every year, Soulard Mardi Gras brings in $20 million to the regional economy, and we get people from all over.
That is Mardi Gras organizer Bess McCoy. Luke Reynolds owns Molly's.
Well, we order by the pallet for Mardi Gras and by the case for the rest of the year, so it's a significant difference. We will do it probably 5 times a normal weekend on Grand Parade weekend, and the Taste of Soulard and Dog Parade weekend about the same.
The Pet Parade kicks off at 1 this afternoon at 12th and Allen. There's also the Wiener Dog Derby. Next Saturday, the Grand Parade will attract hundreds of thousands of people, as it always does, and it also falls on Valentine's Day this year. Should be decent weather this afternoon.
KMOX AccuWeather. This afternoon will be sunny to partly cloudy and not as cold as recent days, high 45. Partly cloudy down to 30 tonight. Tomorrow warmer, 56 with sunshine. Partly sunny, 58 by Tuesday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Bill Decker on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Bill. It's 39 in St. Peter's, 37 in Florissant, 37 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
All right, back at it. Good to be with you. Good first hour. We talked a lot about college basketball. Just wanted to really get into as much as I possibly could because this is prime time for college basketball. We have a lot of good programs in the area, so I hope you got to hear a little something about your school. I know I can't get to everybody, but I do my best. We had a comment on here. Where was it? College basketball. Oh, DS Bill. Said, hey, Tom, Billikens play Mason March 7th, the day you arrive. What's the place to watch the game in Jupiter? That is a great question. There are so many. Man, I guess it depends on time of day for me. So let me take a look here and see. As you mentioned, I will be heading to Jupiter on March 7th. I'm guessing that since you're mentioning that, you're going to be there. And if that's the case, DS Bill, you want to meet up for a beer? I'm happy to do that. Love meeting up with our viewers and listeners. Let's see what we got. The Billikens yesterday, with their 82-58 win over LaSalle, improved to 23-1 on the year. If they were to run the table in the regular season, they'll be 30-1. But it gets difficult at Loyola, at Rhode Island. Then they play at home against VCU, and then they go to Dayton. Now, those are four. I know Loyola's down this year, and Rhode Island maybe hasn't been great. But going on the road, as we've seen already in the A10 schedule, is not easy. And VCU at home is going to want some revenge. And at Dayton, they're going to want revenge too. Duquesne on February 28th. And then the March schedule has Loyola at home March 4th at 7. Saturday, 3 p.m. tip at George Mason Central Time, 4 o'clock in Jupiter. Let me put some thought to that. 4 o'clock. I'm going to say probably you want to be around as many Cardinals fans as you can. So just stick to Abacoa. And there are a lot of sports bars right there. I mean, one that comes to mind that's been around forever where you can just walk right up to the bar and they have TVs on right there is Jumbie Bay. It's probably the longest standing right there in Abacoa. They always have great food. DS Bill said he'll be there. All right, man, send me a message. Let's go get a beer. I land at like 1:30. So I'm going to miss the first part of the Cardinals game, but we'll watch Billikens. How's that sound? On the 7th. There you go. See? I'm making friends all over the place. Let's do this. Let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk NFL. Hit that music, Drew Young, and let's make a pick of Super Bowl 60. It's going to be Santa Clara, California. What's the weather in Santa Clara before I make this pick? Let's take a look, shall we? Santa Clara, California, the home of the San Francisco 49ers. Currently, it's 51 degrees. By game time, it'll be 63 and partly cloudy skies. That is absolutely perfect. The wind right now is minimal, 2 miles per hour. Just a gorgeous day for football. And that, ladies and gentlemen, favors, at least for me, the Seattle Seahawks. I think if this was a little nastier, like we saw in Denver, I think New England's made for that. They are good defensively. They like to keep games close. Very well coached in Mike Vrabel. I really like their quarterback, Drake May. And I'm very impressed with the Patriots and what they've done thus far. But I think the Seahawks are a more developed football team at this point. I think they have weapons everywhere you look, and I think their defense is lights out. I think it is the best defense in the league, and I think they're going to do this here on Sunday February 8th. They're a 4.5-point favorite at last check. But I'm going to do one more check for you before I make this pick because it's important. It's the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. Let me just make sure that we have, and I'm going to go to Chris Ranji's favorite, FanDuel, for this spread. 4.5. All right. I'm going Seahawks minus 4.5. I think that I envision a game that they win like 24-13, 24-10, maybe even. I mean, I could see this game just not going in the Patriots' way, and therefore I would go under the 45.5. I think the Seahawks won't run away with it, nor do I think the Patriots can run with the Seahawks and score enough to be a factor. So I'm going to go Seahawks minus 4.5, and I would hit the under 45.5. How's that sound? For Seahawks and Patriots. And there's all kinds of stuff, props and whatnot. Enjoy. And that's my last piece here, is just enjoy. Super Bowls are special. It's American tradition. Eat a ton. If you're going to drink, don't drive. And just enjoy this day. My plan, I'm going to watch at home. It looks like we're going to get into the 50s today, temperature-wise. So I told my wife today that I'm going to come home with, I think, burgers to cook today. But it looks like, no, it's going to be a little chillier than I thought. 46 for the high, not the 50s that I thought. That might change my plan. Maybe I'll go chili. I don't know. We'll see. But at any rate, Seahawks minus 4.5. That's my pick against the Patriots today. Super Bowl 60, our final NFL pick of the season. I had a pretty good year, I would say, for the most part. Right around 500, maybe just a touch above. Not bad. Not great, not bad. I've had better years, but it was good. Next year, I'll be a Raiders fan. So this whole thing's going to be tainted because I'll be emotionally attached to the Raiders and Fernando Mendoza. Coming up next, it's KMOX senior golf editor Dan Reardon. Can't wait to talk to him. Then Chaim Bloom, then Bernie Miklasz on KMOX.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Unlock a brighter outdoor space in 2026 with Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Let us be your trusted partner for all your landscaping, lawn, and gardening needs, empowering you to create a haven that brings joy and serenity to your life. From landscape design to property maintenance to our garden center, we're here for you. Houseplants, tree shrubs, organic soil mixes, gardening and plant classes, and more. Chesterfield Valley Nursery's Garden Center has what you need no matter what the season. Visit us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday hours start in March. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram for all class and sale updates.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenter.stl.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours. It actually works. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Super Bowl Sunday also means golf in Scottsdale. It's a tradition that goes hand in hand, it seems. And joining us is KMOX's Dan Reardon, who's been keeping an eye on the Waste Management Phoenix Open. How are you, Dan?
Doing fine, Tom. You know, I'm reminded you mentioned they go hand in hand. I remember several years ago when Phil Mickelson was in contention at Phoenix and the Super Bowl was in San Diego, and he had a large bet on the Super Bowl, and he had his plane fueled and ready to go so he could be in the stands on that same Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There have been people who have done the double dip. Hideki Matsuyama, a 3-under 68 in Scottsdale as he takes a one-shot lead into the third round on Saturday. And now we're ready for today. Scotty Scheffler, 5 shots off the lead. In fact, a whole bunch of them are just a shot behind Matsuyama, Dan.
And in fact, Scheffler has just teed off on the first hole. He has a birdie opportunity. He was asked yesterday, you know, is 5 shots doable? And he said, yeah, on this golf course, if I can get the ball in the fairway, really, if he can get the ball in the fairway, because the greens have firmed up quite a bit, and they're having a hard time holding the greens when they're coming off the fairway. So he thinks he has a shot at it, but he's got a lot of people to climb over. You know, Tom, you look at the leaderboard, the top 5 names on that board, 2 players from Japan, 1 from South Korea, 1 from Denmark, and 1 from the U.S. And you're looking at the way professional golf is today. It's an international game, even if it's only on the PGA Tour.
I know. Yeah, I hear that. I know that Scheffler gets the attention, but when I see Victor Hovland's name in there, and he's 4 back and fired a 65 yesterday, I'd watch out for him.
Yeah, and I continue to follow the youngster that is no longer a youngster, but Bhatia is still an interesting character as well. He continues to contend. He's got 1 win in his career, but of the young players, I guess he's one of the few that I will watch on a regular basis because he's entertaining the way he swings the club. He's a left-hander. There's a lot about him that appeals to me, but you know, we always have to say when we talk this year about golf, we always have to say they'll all be here in August for the BMW Championship. That field will be star-studded, and all of sports is about stars, and that will be better than the PGA in terms of the star quality we'll get here in St. Louis.
Let's say that again. Better than the PGA in terms of star quality in St. Louis. I think people need to hear that over and over because they think, how does it get better than a major PGA Championship? And with all respect to the field, there are some players that you did not recognize out there. That will not be the case in Belle Reve at the BMW Championship, Dan. That format is set up as such so that you get the best of the best.
And you get the players also who may be new names, but are the hot new names on tour because they're here based on what they did for the season. So you get the veteran names that you know, and you get the newcomers as well. It's a real coup for Belle Reve to have that second round of the playoffs leading into Atlanta.
The big news that a former champion of Belle Reeve Country Club, Brooks Koepka, was welcomed back to the PGA Tour. Was it as welcoming as it was made out to be, Dan?
According to his interviews, Brooks has had no ill comments from any players. He's received nothing but support from the fans. So I think the reentry has been seamless in that regard. He probably still needs to figure out something with the putter because he's not playing at the level he typically plays. And the other thing you have to remember about Koepka at this point in his return to the PGA Tour, he has 9 wins in his career. 5 of those are majors, and only 4 came on PGA Tour events. So even though he's won in Phoenix before, he's not a guy that typically on a week-to-week basis performs the way you expect him to play. But when he gets to a major, he seems to turn it up. We remember a couple of years ago when he had the 4th-round lead going into the Masters. So, there's things about Koepka that you also have to keep in mind, that he's not the typical PGA Tour winner in terms of his performance in the past, and he will be particularly cranked up because the U.S. Open is at Shinnecock, and that's one of his 5 major championships.
Dan Reardon is with us. After this, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, it's the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then off we go with the Genesis Invitational, the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. That comes up in the beginning of March, and on it goes. The Players Championship, and we start to creep up to the Masters. It's hard to believe, but once we get through this weekend, we're going to be 2 months away from the Masters, Dan.
And next week we will see returning to the PGA Tour, Rory McIlroy, the guy that won the Masters and that emotional win last year. No, it shapes up every year as a special year. But Tom, what I think the biggest story on tour will be this year, and it won't be any one player or any one tournament. The biggest story on tour this year will be, what will 2027 look like? Because Brian Rolapp, the new person in charge of the PGA Tour, has said, we're going to shrink this tour. They have more than 30 events right now. There will be probably less than 25 next year. There'll be more signature events where they pack the field with stars. So what that looks like, I think, is the most interesting and probably the most meaningful story that we'll look to through the course of the year. We'll probably hear something in that regard around the time of the U.S. Open. Probably not much sooner than that.
And we will get a lot of news, I'm sure, in August. By then, the BMW Championship at Belle Reeve Country Club is August 20th through the 23rd. It's a monster weekend, of course, in all respects. And certainly it's going to be at the end of the year or close to it. And then this is the year of the President's Cup. It's going to be at Medina in Chicago. If people want to get an idea of what that's going to look like in 4 years, 2030 at Belle Reeve, I guess they sneak up there and get a look at it, Dan.
And Tom, let me also remind people, and I'll tease with this a little bit, that the senior event here in St. Louis has now become a playoff event as well, the same as the BMW, and it leads into their tour championship. And we can play the scenario. It's an unlikely scenario, but it's a possible scenario. There's a player who turned 50 this year and is eligible to play on the senior tour, and that's Tiger Woods. And we don't know what Tiger's going to do. He's been very non-committal until he's healthy. But we know that he can't walk many golf courses. And if he chooses to play some senior events, if he can win a senior event, he would qualify for the field at Norwood, and he would be in the field at Norwood. Now, that's a lot of possibilities, but I think it's worth following.
And you're, of course, talking about the Stiefel Charity Classic. The previous person who ran that, Nick Ragone, when he was at Ascension, relayed to us that Tiger said, hey, get my cart ready, indicating that perhaps now this is before, again, more injuries and surgery, that perhaps that could happen. But the growth of that tournament has been impressive under not only Ragone's watch, but now Ron Kruszewski's watch. They are putting a lot of resources into it. I can tell you that, trying to turn the tide there and get that thing back to where they thought it would be.
And again, that will be the best field on the senior tour, because that's the last event before the playoffs. So you're going to see the best of the over 50 crowd for that event as well. And when you talk about Tiger and St. Louis, Tom, you and I both remember seeing Tiger on that bridge across, walking back off of 18 and stopping to wave to the crowd in St. Louis. And I told you at the time, and I'll say it again, I've seen Tiger win every major championship he's won in this country. And I have never seen Tiger stop and wave to the crowds after not winning. It was a special moment for Tiger in that regard. And I do think he looks favorably upon this community, would take advantage if there was an opportunity to return.
That's great to hear. Yeah, he genuinely enjoyed. He said it was a pleasure to play in front of these people in St. Louis. Dan, one final thing, and going back to today's event, which is underway, the final round of the Waste Management Phoenix Open at TPC Scottsdale. I've never been to it. I understand what a party atmosphere it is, and not mean-spirited. I mean, this is just about partying from dawn to dusk at this golf course.
And I've never been there, and I don't hear people talk as much, but I'm told that Phoenix is the greatest singles bar in the world.
That certainly could be the case. No doubt about it. It's always fun to watch on TV. One of these days might get around to doing it. It's just tough for me. College basketball takes too much of my time this time of year, but it's fun to watch on TV. Dan, we're going to spend some time together this year at the BMW. I'm certain we'll be hearing your reports from the majors, and it is going to be some year in golf, and it's great to have you on the air to preview it. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, Tom.
Thank you, sir. Dan Reardon, KMOX's senior golf editor, with us on KMOX. It's nice to hear his voice and talk some golf again. Feels like we're going to start warming up around here before you know it. We will take a break, and we're going to talk some baseball. Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, will join us live. Another warm weather sport. Baseball is quickly upon us. Back after this.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I think right now we all need something to look forward to, and a nice little getaway is going to do it for me. So I've been looking at this 5-day Arizona trip that I planned in September, and to me, it sounds absolutely perfect, and I would love for you to join me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay in Flagstaff because that means cooler temperatures. It's a great home base, and from there, we're going to visit Sedona, the Grand Canyon, and Lake Powell all in one trip. I'm talking about red rocks, big views, and that deep blue water at Lake Powell that looks like a postcard. I'm told September is one of the best times to go, with fewer crowds, more comfortable weather, and everything's going to be planned out for us. We just show up. If this sounds like something you'd like to do, please join me, because I have always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. Travelwithdebbie.net. That's travelwithdebbie.net, or call Cruise and Tour at 800-383-3131. Space is limited, so don't delay. 800-383-3131. Travelwithdebbie.net.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar, and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My best friend came with me, and neither one of us smoked. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back at February 12, 2015, to stop smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015, and he still no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking, or your money back. Only $59.99. That's right, weight loss hypnosis, Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We've had a good show here this morning, a half hour to go, and at 11:30, we're joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, Chaim Bloom. It is time for baseball season. We were talking about all this warm weather stuff, golf last segment, Chaim, and now we get to talk some Cardinal baseball. It is upon us, and it is very welcome, I would say, this time of year.
100%. It's here and ready to be in the warmth. And
get things going down there. Excited for our new, renovated, but it'll be new to us facility and all the things that it'll offer us.
I can't wait to see it. When you think of it, what jumps out at you? What is the biggest improvement?
There's really a couple things. One, we have never at any point, I say we, obviously I haven't been here that long, but the organization has never had a real kitchen on site, believe it or not, to feed our players. And we will now for the first time. And obviously there's a huge amount of effort that goes into that and a huge amount of logistics. It's just going to be an amazing development for us. And then the new performance center, where we'll have a brand new and much bigger weight room, just going to enable us again to kind of get up to speed here and have something that's consistent with the standards of today. And we're really excited about that.
Yeah, previously the food was being made inside a truck, and a nice one. I mean, a food truck basically outside the clubhouse, and then they had a kitchen area to serve everything. But you're right about nutrition, technology, resources, all of these things, mental coaching. I mean, there are a lot of things that go on besides baseball that impact a baseball team, aren't there?
Yeah, and I wouldn't really necessarily draw a line in between what's baseball and what's not. Obviously, I guess you could in a sense when you talk about things that are going on between the lines or in the cage, but everything connects to everything else. And, you talk about something like nutrition. You're made of what you put in your body. We all know that. And all of us know how much that matters in daily life. And, of course, it matters for our athletes as well. And then, so many great players, you talk to them about what separates them. And obviously they have amazing physical ability, but especially in a game like baseball where there's so much failure, the mental game is so important. And so all these things, they're not optional if you want to be great.
Chaim Bloom is with us, and you mentioned that weight room. I remember there were separate weight areas, right? So the major leaguers were in one area, the minor leaguers were in another. How does it impact the minor leaguers? You got a whole bunch of people coming in here shortly.
Yeah, and you talk about the kitchen setup, that mobile kitchen, which, by the way, for given that it was a setup like you described, I actually thought the food was outstanding given the parameters. But those aren't parameters that are ideal, and our minor leaguers didn't get to benefit from that unless they happened to be over playing in the big league game that day, and all that food had to be brought in, catered in, which is obviously not what you'd like to do. And then we were doing something similar with the weight room, just because of the limitations of the facility, where we had a place across the street where we would set up. It wasn't that sizable a place, but we were able to set up an ancillary weight room there and shuttle players in and out of there. And, we still might use that from time to time just because there's so many bodies in there. But just having a new weight room that's much bigger, we'll have a major league and a minor league athletic training room on either side of it. I think it's just going to make the flow a lot easier. And, you really want, especially at a time like this, you want players to feel like this is one organization. You want players coming up from the minor leagues to feel that the major leagues, while they have a respect and a reverence for it, to feel that it's attainable, to see guys that they played with go up there and succeed. That should be a motivator. And if it's close enough to feel like you can rub elbows with those folks and kind of reach out and touch it, that should be extra motivation to keep climbing the ladder.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see all of this come together. And I know it's still going to remain under construction. By the way, I did not have any of that food myself, but I remember one time sitting in the office with Ali to visit with him about something, and he was eating like some paella or something. I said, "That looks amazing." And he goes, "It is." So the food was really good over there. But anyway, this is, I think you're onto something here in terms of the overall picture. Just the understanding to relate that to fans is there will be a buy-in from them, I do believe. I mean, they've got to be able to understand what's going on. And I do think that tide has turned a little bit. I mean, there will always be some new people are going to start coming in here over the next couple of months, ready to look at this roster on opening day and try to recognize who's who. And you understand that also, is that there will be a learning process for your fan base, which is massive and has been through a lot through the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's, I think, two things that I think you can kind of hold together at once or believe at once. And it's kind of the observation I made just being here for a couple of years. On one hand, I think our fan base, and I kind of heard this throughout the past year leading up to this, I do think our fans, because they follow this very closely, and because they know the game and are educated about the game, I do think there is, some belief, some appreciation that what we've done is the quickest and best way to get back to where we need to be. And that it was time to turn the page on some of these things and just move forward into doubling down on that young core, because they know it, they've seen it. That's how the Cardinals have always won, is around our own cores. At the same time, I think you can believe that and also sit here and say, yes, but we've done that also with established players, and we've done that with more household names than what we currently have now. And that's also true. And obviously, like I talked about with the first half of what I was saying, you have to get from here to there. And this is the best way to do that, is just to double down on getting as much young talent and bright young talent as we can, and then investing into it with opportunity and with training and with all the things we just talked about. And you want those guys to grow up and be those household names. But I don't expect anybody to be happy, in a sense, about where we are. And just like nobody's been happy about where we've been the last 3 years. So I think you can support, agree with, obviously some won't, but you can support and agree with what we're doing now without being complacent, without being satisfied. We aren't. So I wouldn't expect our fans to be.
You and I talked a couple of weeks ago about these top 100s that come out. Baseball America had one, MLB Pipeline had one, and you told me, and it was understandable. Well, that's great, but they're not looking at things always like we're looking at things, and it's nice to be rated. I will say, though, being named the number 2 farm system by Baseball America looks pretty good on you at the moment. I mean, I remember talking to John Mozeliak. I think one of the proudest moments of his career was when Baseball America named the Cardinals Organization of the Year. It was the first time they had been named that, and that was in 2011. So I'm sure that carries some weight with you to be number 2 right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, there's so much that goes into this, so many people who work so hard, and honestly, never get enough recognition. And so to get some recognition publicly that some of the things that we've been doing are working, at least in the eyes of some people who, albeit they're outside observers, spend their days doing this. This is their career, and then they're very educated on it. Again, this is a business. I used to work with one of my mentors who would say compliments get thrown around like manhole covers. It is nice for the work of all of our people to get recognized. And when you talk about that, those awards are really, and those honors really are organizational. Obviously, you want to get to that and then have the big league success on top of that and try to have it all going at once and sustain it. That's our goal. But it is great. At the same time, this came up. Actually, I think JJ said this at winter warmup when you talk about all that praise. You can't open your ears too much to the praise, because you can't be selective, praise or criticism. You have to be able to tune it all out. And whether they rank us second or 29th, like, we should always act like they're ranking us 29th in terms of not being satisfied and wanting to add more talent and wanting to do better and to get more out of the talent that's in the building.
Chaim, you claimed Brian Ramos off waivers from the Baltimore Orioles this past week. He originally signed with the White Sox as an international free agent. And if I recall, they protected him in the Rule 5 draft a few years ago. So they liked him a lot, the Cuba native. What do you like about him?
Yeah, and it actually leads to why he is available in this context now, even just still being just 23 years old, because he is already out of options, because he was a touted young prospect that earned his way onto the 40-man roster. And, with that trade, obviously the trade of Donnie to Seattle, we opened up a 40-man spot. And that's something that we want to do when we see talent. If we have room to accommodate it on the 40-man roster, we want to be opportunistic, using every avenue to bring talent in the organization. He's young, he's a good athlete, he can impact the ball. Obviously did not have a great year in 2025, and hence the reason why he's been available a couple times. But as long as we have space to accommodate talented players, we're going to keep trying to do that. And I think you need to be aggressive with those things, again, as long as you have the room to do so, or you feel that you can upgrade your organization in some way. Because if you're willing and able to do that, you will sometimes unearth some hidden gems.
If you don't mind me asking you every single week, but are you still on the hunt for a right-handed bat to add to this club?
Yeah, we are. You sound like a broken record here, and obviously we haven't lined up on it just yet. I think I said this last week. There's a couple guys that we've kind of made some runs at that, whether trade or free agency, where it didn't line up on certain guys for various reasons. We're going to continue to do that. Again, nothing up our sleeves at the moment. I expect this is something that will probably actually go into camp as we continue to look to improve our roster. And again, we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to give Ollie and the staff as flexible and as functional a roster as we can. So there is still room to add there. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. It could be a veteran, it could be a younger player. We obviously have room to accommodate some guys, and we do like the options we have in house. But like I've talked about, there's never a problem with creating more competition, and there's never a problem with adding the right type of veteran to the room. Ideally both, and that can help young players find their way.
Tomorrow's the reporting date for the WBC pitchers and catchers, although I'm sure a lot of those faces have already popped up around Jupiter. Some of them live there, I guess. So it should be a fun week as you get everyone back together. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of guys who've been in the area. Obviously, we'd have more of them in-house if we had a fully functional facility prior to this. And kudos to the crew, by the way, the construction crew, for getting us to this point. It is a massive undertaking. There's obviously still going to be a few things left to do, but for us to be able to run a camp as we put all the finishing touches on what needs to be done this week is just a monumental thing, and very appreciative of everybody who made it happen. But a lot of these guys have been lurking. We have had a few of them out on the backfields. We were able to run a small program there with Larry Day and Carl Cochin spearheading that down there and get some of our guys built up under our care. Obviously, some other guys, just given the nature of the facility, if they had other options, some of them, especially our big league guys, we're leveraging those other options. But, this week we're going to be open for business, and we'll get everybody in-house. Chaim, thank you for this visit. We'll have daily coverage of spring training. I'll be down there March 7th until the end, so looking forward to that in a month. And have a great day tomorrow as everyone gets back together. Thank you. Really excited for it, and looking forward to talking to you from there soon. Thank you. Thanks for the visit. Chaim Bloom, Cardinals president of baseball operations, with us on Sports on a Sunday morning. I didn't ask him for his Super Bowl pick. I don't know. Patriots, Seahawks. We'll see. We'll ask Bernie about his, though, in just a few minutes. He's coming up next. It's Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
Attention health and emergency professionals. When disaster strikes, communities need calm voices and skilled professionals ready to respond. That's why investing in your disaster behavioral health skills matters. Join us March 16th through 18th in Columbia for the Disaster Behavioral Health Conference. Learn practical tools, hear from expert speakers, and strengthen the skills people count on in times of crisis. Register today. Search Disaster Behavioral Health Conference, Missouri. Brought to you by the Department of Mental Health's Office of Disaster Services.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 369-369. AREA to 369-369. Area to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for: their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We're joined now by Bernie Miklasz, always a treat, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. How are you, Bernie?
I'm doing good. Obviously, Super Bowl Sunday is always a lot of fun, trying to figure out what I want to eat. Very happy about another win for St. Louis University. Of course, I watched you do the play-by-play yesterday. Great job as always.
Thanks, man.
Cardinals can't wait. The Cardinals keep adding players. It's a really good time of the year. It's a lot of fun. I mean, even Mizzou's hanging in the NCAA picture as far as the tournament. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm a happy man. A lot going on.
Same here. I love when all the sports come back together, man. I got home from that Billikens game and I watched Duke, Carolina. I watched Michigan State, Illinois. I mean, it was an absolute blast. And now you have the Super Bowl today. Let's get your pick right out of the gate here. So Patriots 4.5-point dog against the Seahawks. What do you think?
Here's what I think. And I know some people will think I'm copping out by doing it this way, but I look at it from a wagering angle. And I really do think Seattle has a slightly better team. And I understand why it's pretty overwhelming majority think Seattle will win. See, I was just talking to producer Drew Young. I said, listen, I think Seattle wins a game, but I think it's about a field goal game. I think it's about a 3-point game. And my wager today is that the Patriots will. I mean, that's my play. I mean, they could win outright, but if you're asking like specifically how I would put my money down, I'd take the Patriots to cover because these are two really great teams. And I think the Patriots did play a soft schedule. The Seattle played a much tougher schedule. But to be honest with you, I think sometimes that's very overrated and very too much is made about it. And you know what my reference point is to that? The 1999 St. Louis Rams, because they had the softest schedule in the league. And that's what I heard, which we all heard all year long. Well, boy, this is fun. This is kind of cute. But they're not physical. They're going to play teams that'll beat them up, and that'll be all. Kurt Warner, really good story, but you wait till he has a bad game, he'll fall apart. It's a nice story, but it's about to end. I mean that was true going into the Super Bowl. People were still bad mouthing it. Well, they played a really light schedule, so I will never forget that. I will never forget that because people were so obsessed on the soft schedule. Listen, if you're a great team, I don't care what kind of schedule you play because you have a lot of opportunities to lose games that you shouldn't lose. And the Patriots didn't do that, just like the Rams in 1999 didn't do that. So I think people have overreacted to Drake May in the postseason as if that defines him, where he plays 3 top 8 defenses, terrible weather in all 3 games. And yeah, he had to grind it out, but he made plays when he had to make plays. And listen, those 3 postseason performances do not override or define what he did all season, what he did in the regular season. He was statistically the best quarterback in the league. So I think he'll make some plays today. Seattle's defense is great, but let's keep it real here. It's not like Seattle's defense is impenetrable. I mean, the Rams in recent weeks just had them running around like crazy. The Rams averaged nearly 500 yards in 2 games against them. So I think some of the stuff is overblown. And that's why, to tie this up, that's why I think there's a really good chance that the Patriots will cover. And if Sam Darnold screws up, the Patriots could take this thing. And, 2 excellent coaches. Both sides have good offenses. Both sides have really good defenses. People sort of forget about that too. New England has an outstanding defense, although Seattle's, I think, is the better one.
I agree, and I think it's going to be a great football game that could very well come down to the wire. I took Seahawks -4.5, but I mean, it could easily come down to a field goal without a doubt today. Really good points made by Bernie. Bernie, I need to hear your analysis of Torrey Holt. Look, usually this stuff doesn't bother me. Hall of Fame votes don't get under my skin. It is what it is. But this one does. This one really bothers me. Can you give me your thoughts on Torrey Holt being left out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class again?
Number one, he obviously is. He's obviously Hall of Fame worthy. Listen, the fact that he's made the list of the 15 finalists, how many years in a row now? I mean, 5, 6, something like that. When a guy makes it to the final 15 multiple times, but more than just 2 times, and we're talking again 4, 5, 6 times, that's a Hall of Famer, because it just means he's getting aced out by some other people that may have been in the queue longer, but who are new to the ballot, and they have a stronger case than Torrey Holt. But that doesn't mean he's not Hall of Famer. The second problem is, and I know this from being on the committee, and people are going to get mad. Don't get mad at me. I'm just speaking the truth to this. There was the fact that the Rams got so many players from the Greatest Show on Turf team, including head coach Dick Vermeil in there. You have Isaac Bruce. They have a wide receiver in there. They have Falk. They have a running back in there. They have Orlando Pace, who was a shutdown left tackle. He's in there. You have the quarterback Kurt Warner in there. And you have Coach Vermeil in there, and I don't think I left anybody else out. Shame on me if I did. But the point I'm trying to make is like, well, that team won 1 Super Bowl. Okay, they were great for 3 years. How many Rams are we going to put in there? That thing. That's the thinking in the room. I know, because I talked to people about it when Torrey Holt came through the first time. It's like, well, yeah, man, we all love watching The Greatest Show on Turf, but well, what are we going to put the whole team in there? I think he is a victim of that mindset. I don't defend it because I think it's unfair, but I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is, but that is actually a good explanation.
Yeah, and the third thing, Tom, and I don't, in recent events in the voting, I don't have to tell anybody yet. This is obvious. The whole process is totally screwed up. It's incoherent. They got too many voters. They've got too many, putting the coaches, owners, and senior players in one group, and you metaphorically speaking, you put a gun to people's head. Well, you can only vote for 3. It's like, why are we having? Why do you have to choose between a coach and like a great senior player that should be in there, like Roger Craig, who finally got his due? Why are you making people choose? You got owners, you got coaches, you got players. Separate them. Don't lump them all into one group.
I hear you 100%. Finally, Cardinal baseball. So spring training begins this week. Just your thoughts on what you want to see develop here over the next month. And as you get closer to opening day, you want to be able to celebrate your team with your fans. I think it's up to the Cardinals here over the next couple of months to create some excitement for their fan base, just to get a glimpse of the future.
The top thing on my list is the fact that Chaim Bloom has added so much prospect pitching, young pitching to this organization. Hunter Dobbins and Richard Fitz have already been in the major leagues as young starters, but the Cardinals have so many guys who either this year or next year loom prominently in whether they're going to form, the next Cardinals rotation. And it's never too soon to kind of track these guys. And it is spring training. It's not the regular season, but there's a lot of healthy competition in that starting pitcher group. The guys who were here last year, and then the guys who are coming in now, Dustin May, Hunter Dobbins, and Richard Fitz. You got 3 major league veterans, young veterans. And so, but then you're folding them in with the guys who are already here, like McGreevy and Libator and Palante. Who else am I missing? I don't have my roster in front of me.
I mean,
they have like Kyle Leahy, right? Mm-hmm. So they go in there with, technically speaking, they go into camp with like 7 candidates in that starting pitcher pool. But then right after that, you have prospects like Liam Doyle and Quinn Matthews, I don't think they're going to be in the minor leagues all that much longer. So this will make for like great viewing just to monitor these starting pitchers. And then the other thing I'm looking at it's not so much the players they already have, but Chaim Bloom's been very aggressive at just adding players even now. Like, can this Nelson Velasquez, a right-handed hitting outfitter, can he make a run at a roster spot? You have that Brian Ramos, age 23. You just talked about it with Chaim. They put him on the 40-man roster. He's 23, got a lot of potential. They also signed two guys that could be, or one guy recently that could be a bullpen candidate. This Justin Militello, who he went to one of those pitching laboratories or whatever, and all of a sudden he's throwing 96 and he's got a great spin rate. So I'm looking at some of the dark horses, because we all know about Burleson, and we know about the catchers, and we know about Weatherholt, and we know about Gorman and Walker and Victor Scott, the challenges they all have. We know about them. It's just time for them to play ball. I'm more intrigued about the new pieces to the team, and even the guys we wouldn't think about. Are they going to stand up and open some eyes like those players I just mentioned that Chaim has just recently brought in?
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to be down there and see all of those people in person. And it is the only time that you get to see them all in one place, because then they disperse to Peoria and Springfield and Palm Beach and Memphis, etc. By the way, all of our listeners in those spots, go check these players out and report back to us. Give us some eyewitness stuff, man. We love that. Bernie, it's great to be with you. I hope you have an amazing day. It's not as warm today as I thought. I am going to grill though, and have a couple of beers and enjoy this Super Bowl, and I hope you do as well.
Well, listen, you got to give me 10 seconds on what you're grilling before I say goodbye.
I'm going burgers, and then I went to what's the name of that place? The Italian market on the hill, not Di Gregorio's. It's called is it Urzi's? Yeah, Urzi's Italian market on Southwest. They have a garlic pepper that they said this is like our thing. So I bought it. They said, sprinkle that on steaks, burgers. You are going to be very happy that we told you that. So that's what I'm doing.
Tell me how it worked out. You're making me hungry. I think I'm going to go grab some chicken wings right now. Thank you, brother.
Dude, you're the best. Thank you. Bernie Miklasz with us on Sports on a Sunday morning. That's our show. Fun show today. For our producer, Drew Young, I'm Tom Ackerman. The news is next.
The Humane Society of Missouri's Day of Giving is just around the corner. On this day, your favorite local TV station